My name is Andy Laptev, and I am a traditional network engineer who has never logged into a router or switch using a Python script until today. Bum, bum, bum. All right. So quick shout out to my friends Dwan Lightfoot at Lab Everyday and Keon Thana. I believe I'm saying Keon's name correctly. They have both been helping me out as I've been working on logging in to a Cisco router with NetMiko, which is it a library, a plugin, something in Python that allows you to SSH to a device and do things. We're going to run a show var. So Python script, going to pull up the NetMiko library, SSH into a Cisco router in my home lab, and it's going to run a show var and print out the output. I am excited because this is my first time ever using a Python script to log into a router. I probably should have started here years ago when starting to learn Python, but I did not. And I have been crying and whining and struggling since. So let's log into a router. Good first step. The first thing we have to do is get management configured on this router. We have to be able to SSH into this device, and that requires a handful of things. Hostname, Python. Let's see if it takes a space. It did not. Cool. Hostname done, Python router. Huzzah. All right, to get SSH running on this guy, IP, domain name. Need a domain name. Why? I don't know. mydomain.com. Is that a real domain? I don't know, but there it is. All right. Crypto key. Generate. It's going to create the SSH key. I think RSA modulus is next. Modulus. Yeah. Modulus is something to do with the more modulus bits you give it, the more secure it is. Question. Can I question mark this? Where am I? Question mark. Let's see, 1024. I don't know. All right, so crypto key generate modulus says generating a 1024-bit RSA key. Huzzah! All right, cool. So we have a SSH key configured, and then I believe we need a username and password on this guy. Username client privilege. I think we want to give it full rights. Privilege 15. Trying to figure out how to, there we go. I need a better setup here. Privilege 15, secret, I believe. Specify the secret. And I'm going to put in my secret. Vendor, don't tell anybody. All right. Last thing we have to do is go to our VTY lines. Boop. Line VTY 0 space 4. Transport input, SSH. I am not configuring AAA on here, so we're going to do a login local, which I think is why we need that username and password locally, because we're not going to have AAA. Login local, exit. All right, and the last thing I have to do, interface gigi 00. I think that is the interface I plugged into my home network. IP adder, 10, nope, 192.168.1.65. I should have a lab subnet. I know. I have done no isolation in my home network. Everything's in the 192.168.1. Not proud. All right. No shut. And right. All right, that should give us what we need in the router. So I'm going through this course, and it showed this quick Python script, Python program. And what this is going to do is it's going to import NetMiko, which is a Python library that allows you to SSH into devices. There are some variables here: IP, username, password, device type, port. These are going to be needed for, I don't know if it's called Connect Handler, but something in NetMiko to reach out and hit this device. So I'm going to put in my management IP that I just put there, my username and password that I just configured. We'll keep the device type the same and leave port 22 because that's SSH. Here's NetConnect down here. There's Connect Handler that I was talking about earlier. So it's going to grab those variables from above. It's going to issue the show version, and it's going to print out the version that's running on this router. Maybe. That's the plan. All right. One thing I want to mention is I'm on my local desktop here running Windows. I have Microsoft Visual Studio Code running locally. That's an IDE. We do have a Linux server running on the same subnet. It has a Python 3. something installed, and my IDE, Visual Studio Code, has SSH'd into that Linux box so that anything I create in the IDE here can be pushed to and saved to that Linux box. The net of all this is we created management on a Cisco router. We're going to write this Python program to log into a Cisco router and issue a show ver for us. We're going to do that in Visual Studio Code with a Python script, and that is going to run that script on a Linux server running in the local subnet. Hopefully that makes sense. This is part of why automation always explodes my brain, because there seems to be a lot of moving parts. I went down like the crazy GitHub rabbit hole today. I'm like, oh, maybe I should do it here and push it from there, and too much. All right. So what you're seeing here, I created that file that I just showed you. I created a script. So a Python script has the .py file extension. So as soon as I saved a file name show version.py, I got prompted in the IDE, do you want to install the recommended Python extension? So I'm going to say yes. Cool. That looks installed. First things first. I have to create a virtual environment, a virtual Python environment. Why? Not exactly sure. Something to do with dependencies and libraries and keeping them separated. And again, I'm just learning this stuff, but I'm told we need a virtual environment. I have to open the command palette. What is that? I don't know. But guess what? With Control-Shift-P, now we get some functionality that I didn't have before. Shift-P. And then up here, I have to write Python create environment. And it's going to create our virtual environment. Create environment. Venv, I think, is what we want. Workspace is required. There it is. A workspace is required when creating an environment using Venv. Open folder. And this is my folder that I've been doing stuff in, Python stuff, on my Linux server. So I am telling it to use that. I click OK. Setting up SSH host. Do you trust the authors of files in this folder? I mean, it's me, so sure. I trust the authors. You selected Linux as the remote platform. This will be stored in the settings. Sure. Great. I wanted you to see me struggle, because it would be really easy to preset everything up and just get it working, run the script, and go, look how smart I am. And I feel like a lot of times that's what happens with this coding stuff that I take. It looks way too easy, and then I try it and fail miserably. Here we are, confused and not really sure what's happening. Well, the bad news is I'm not sure if we're in a virtual environment, but the good news is we are carrying on. We are failing forward in this maintenance window. But I was typing in the terminal. Python 3 -- version Python 3.12.3. What I think this is my IDE communicating with my server. Makes sense because my server name is right here, Lab13, blah, blah, blah. I want to say this squiggly guy might be the virtual environment. Again, I don't know, but if it's not, we're going to do it without a virtual environment and see what happens. I think pip is how you install packages in Python. What I was hoping to do is a pip list to show all the packages installed, and the feedback here I got is pip not found but can be installed. I'm in a folder called Python stuff, and what I don't know is if I have to get out of that folder or if I have to install Python 3 pip in the main directory. So this is the same Linux server that we were just in, except this is a secure CRT session. And what I did in here earlier, just so you can see, so whatever I'm doing in Visual Studio Code is being reflected in here. So as we create folders, basically you can go into Linux and look and see folders that are being created from your IDE in here. It doesn't really matter. It's just a verification that what I'm doing is happening in the server. What I want to do, I think, is go up a level. So cd space ... enter. Right, so that's ls, shows you a list of folders, and I think sudo apt install Python 3 -pip. I have no idea what I'm doing, people. So it installed a bunch of things. Following packages will be installed. Python 3 pip being one of them. This operation, you're going to use some disk. Do you want to continue? I do want to continue, yes. Pip install is a command you use to install Python packages with the pip package manager. If you're wondering what pip stands for, it is a recursive acronym for pip installs packages. Adorable. NetMiko is the, I guess, package library. I don't know my terms, right? I'm a network guy trying to code here, so bear with me. I believe that NetMiko is a package that gives us the functionality in the Python script to reach out and SSH into a device and then run the script. I think that worked. So I'm going to hop out of the server CLI. I'm going to hop back into Visual Studio Code. Pip list. Last time it said no pip. All right, cool. So this is what was just installed, those package managers, I guess. And the one we're going to need, I was going to say it's not here. There it is. Maybe it's not. Oh, maybe we have to do a pip install NetMiko. I'm going to try the command it's giving me because I don't know what any of this means. And we are going to run this script if it kills us. Apt install Python 3 -NetMiko. That's what it told me to do, so that's what I'm going to try to do. It's probably going to say I need sudo. Could not open, permission denied. Sudo apt install. Take that. Whoo! Things happened. Yes, I want to continue. I see NetMiko stuff happening. Now if we do a pip list over in Visual Studio Code, find it. It'll show us NetMiko, which is what we're going to need. Isn't this fun? Please be there. Thank you. All right. We are, this is, I apologize. We're like 20 something minutes in and I'm just getting NetMiko installed. But to reiterate, this is some of the pain and friction and things that scared me about Python. And I'm just keeping my head down and asking for help and reading documentation. And just like anything we learn in networking, just chipping away and trying to keep it manageable and manageable. Import NetMiko. One thing I want to do here. So you can comment out things in a Python script with the pound sign, as you can see there. Import package, right? Whatever. Now we're going to do this, variables, set variables. I'm just commenting this out so that as we look at it, it might make a little more sense. IP equal, I think this will yell at me if my syntax is wrong. I think these colors mean things. This is the Python plugin helping me. Well, of course, I don't know what it's helping me with, but I believe .65 was the IP I set on that 2.168.1.65. It's the IP I set on that Cisco router. Username equal, I don't know if I need this, but I'm just looking in the script from the class I took and it has like a open close paren. So we're going to do that. Client. Whoops. Guess that's needed up there. Password. I'm going to be so excited if this works. Part of me thinks it's not going to work. And this is, and it's fine. It's fine. All right. So we're setting our variables, the IP, the management IP, the username and password that we configured on the router when setting up SSH, device type, device underscore type. This is a 1921, so I'm assuming Cisco iOS will be good for us. And port. What is the SSH port? Does anybody remember? Correct, 22. I'm going to comment this out. So this next section are the NetMiko commands. I'll be completely honest with you. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Net underscore connect space equal netmiko dot. Okay, so there's an autocomplete. Move this over a little bit, I guess. It just gave me an autocomplete connect handler. Can I click that? I can. And then open paren. All right. At the end of this section of code, we have to use that close paren. So I just pushed it down there a little bit. There's some type of indentation now. I'm guessing it's a tab. That's what I'm doing. There's a space tab thing that people like to fight about. I don't know what it means. IP equals IP. So I think the netmiko connect handler is going to pull the variable 192.168.1.65 from the variables we set in the previous section of code. So IP equals IP. I guess we need a comma. Are these key value? No. All right. Again, I'm not going to get myself all hung up here and confused. IP equals IP comma. Device underscore type. Device type underscore type. What sent me down this super exciting rabbit hole was I got about 30 minutes into this class and it showed me the first Python program. And I remember when I asked the 50th person who knew Python the 50th time of like, everybody says, well, you need to find a use case, find a way to apply this. And I'm like, find a way to apply Python in my everyday life. Like, are you serious? But to log into a router, somebody's like, just create a script and log into a router. And then when I saw it in this material, I'm like, oh my God, this is the thing I'm supposed to do. So I got all excited. I should probably finish this course before I start writing the stuff out and logging in. But I'm a tactile learner. I love labbing. I love trying things. And here we are. So that's how we got here. All right, device type. So username equals username. Username equals username, comma. Password equals password. This is like the stuff I see and I'm like, what is this doing? Why am I writing all this? Port equals port. I guess it's somehow, now there's no comma there for reasons, but we do need this close paren there. And then it looks like there's a space. And then at the very end, we have a show underscore version equal net underscore connect dot send underscore command paren. You still see what's happening here? And then show version. And then finally, print. I guess if we don't tell it to print, it won't give us anything and we will cry. All right. So, listen, I'm not exactly sure what's happening here, but I followed the syntax. I'm rewriting this script and we installed netmiko and we configured SSH on a router. So fingers crossed. I think what happens next, I believe this red means I have to save this. So I think it's Control S. Let me double check that before I break things. Yeah. Control S. Did it work? 2 errors, 2 warnings. So down below here, there's this little next to here, 2 errors and 2 warnings. So statements must be separated by new lines or semicolons. Line 5. So it's giving me, I think, some syntax. Statements must be separated by new lines or semicolons. I forgot the, I don't know what this thing is called. Open, close paren, I guess. All right, so, sorry, you couldn't see that. Let me remove them again. So up here, I didn't have the open, close, paren, or whatever the heck this thing's called. So I had errors down here. So this is one of the nice things about using an IDE, or at least using Visual Studio Code with the Python plugin, is it's going to tell you you have problems in your code. So I have to put the open, close, paren here. And then when I do that, this turns the right color, or the color of everything else. And then down here, those issues go away. The other two, device type is not defined. Undefined variable, line 8, 1, device type. Right, so just like if you were in a device CLI and you get one little character wrong, this is going to puke at you. So what it's telling me here, the device type is not defined because that's supposed to be an equal. And I clicked the wrong thing. All right, there we go. No problems have been detected in the workspace. We cleared all the problems that it showed. I believe I can now save it. Control S. And you know what you didn't see? Wonder if I can undo that. I gotta fix it again. So you see how this is red? You see this little white dot up here? I believe that means you have unsaved changes. So let me clear that. And then that white dot, when I hit Control S, should go away, which just lets us know we don't have any unsaved changes. So I'm just going to try to run this and see what happens, because I'm not exactly sure. One thing I do want to check first, which would be really smart, let's SSH into that router to make sure that that works before we try to have that Miko do it. So, pardon me, go over to Secure CRT and go to... So what you're seeing here, I'm consoled into this router remotely through my terminal server. Just in case you're wondering why it says con0 available, I'm actually consoled in. Show IP interface brief. So Gigi0 is up. 1.65, that's the management IP that we created. So what I'd like to try here is in a separate session, new session. All right, what you can't see off screen here is I'm creating a new session in Secure CRT, and it's asking for protocol. It's asking for host name 192.168.1.65, username, client, next, finish. All right, this is good. So it's giving me the host key database does not match. Do you want to accept the fingerprint? It's the SSH key fingerprint, whatever the heck. So accept and save. It's asking me for password. Nope. Okay. All right, cool. So I just SSH'd into our router. So we tested SSH and that works, which is good. There's no AAA like we said. I put a host name on here. Put a username, password. This is our management IP, 192.168.1.65. Here's our VTY line, which has SSH enabled as transport. Okay, cool. So now that we know, let me exit out of there. Now that we know SSH works, let's run this script, say a little prayer, if you're into that sort of thing, and see if this works. So I want to go to terminal. And now I got to remember how to run a Python script. Kind of embarrassing. Command to run Python script. This is the level of coder you're dealing with here. I think it's just something easy, and then the name of the, oh, is it Python? All right, so I think it's Python, and then just the name. It's Python 3, I guess we'll see. Python 3, and then the name of the show version Pi. So I'm going to try to run this, and if it works, it'll give us a show ver. Here we go. Oh my God. I shouldn't be so surprised that it worked. It worked. Wow. I'm just in amazement that this worked. This is the image that we're running over there, which is typically what you get in a show version. Usually also get the board ID, which is in there. What else? Serial number. All right. So just for comparison, if we were to do that from within the CLI and not a Python script, I'm still consoled in, so we'll see show ver. There you go. So all the same stuff in the CLI again, you're getting the processor board. You're getting the, where's the code that we're running here? The version, yeah, there it is. So trying to find it here, sorry. The version of the code is up here that we're running in the show It gives us a board ID, serial numbers, and the config register. So that's very cool. Yeah, exactly what we got what we would get in the CLI, we got here from the Python script. Who cares, right? Well, I've worked in environments with tens, hundreds, thousands, maybe more devices. And I don't know, one application of this is, let's say you have to go out and find what software you're running on, again, tens, hundreds, thousands of devices. You have some kind of inventory or audit that comes up, and we have to see what we're running everywhere. Now, you might have some very fancy software that tells you all that, right? And that's cool. If you don't, or if you're comfortable with Python. See, before I learned this, I would not even consider using Python as a tool. It's just another tool in the toolbox, right? I don't want to do this. There's got to be another way. Give me some software. Not everybody can afford big, fancy vendor management software that might be able to pull that all into a dashboard for you, right? I don't know. But I guess I could create a set of variables somewhere with a whole lot of IPs, and this could just go out, log into each one of them, grab the show var or whatever it is I want from it, bring it back, print it. I think you can put it in spreadsheets or organize the data. It's structured data, which I think is way better when you're looking at a lot of different data to normalize it. But this is huge for me. I logged into a device with a Python script. It did a show var and it worked. So after years, it's been 4 or 5, it's probably been 5 years since the networking industry told me you need to learn Python or you're a dinosaur. And no matter how much I've tried and struggled and failed and tried again and cried and complained and stomped my feet, nobody cares. Here I am, I'm doing the work, and I'm getting more comfortable with Python. I borrowed a script, but I wrote it out, set it up in an IDE, installed some packages, NetMiko, and we ran a Python script, and it worked. So I am way too excited for this, and this took a really long time. So if you made it this far, rock on. Final thoughts. If I can get this far in Python, which isn't very far, but it's further than I've been able to come in years, you can too, because I failed out of computer science because of coding. I went into network engineering because I couldn't stand coding. And here I am all these years later, and the industry's changing. And at a minimum, you need base Python knowledge. You're not going to pass the CCNA or CCNP without it. And most job descriptions now want it and or require it. So if I can do it, you can do it. All right, more Python to come.